Welcome to Essential Emotions. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy life and being here with me and choosing to learn more about supporting your emotional health. Um, One of the things, just to introduce myself, I'm Melissa Jones. I have a website called the Herbal Homestead. Always been very interested in herbalism. I'm an herbalist and I've always been interested in essential oils. And I've also faced a lot of health issues during my life, unfortunately, and really wasn't getting all of the help that I needed from the traditional Western medicine with your regular physician and all of the pharmaceuticals that are available on the market today. So I really started to do a lot of research and ask myself a question of, okay, what can I do to make help myself feel better? And why don't I take the best from the past with herbalism and the complete and total um, huge volume of information that's available from our ancestors and from people that have all of these great traditions that they've passed down through the centuries, and then also with modern medicine, sort of marry the best of both and get the best from both worlds and really try to find some solutions for some of the issues that I face on a daily basis. And one of those issues is emotions. I was thinking about this the other day, and you look around, and one of the most prescribed medications in the country is for depression. And, you think, well, is this a new thing? Are people just now starting to be depressed? Are people just now having all of these emotional problems? Why didn't we hear about all of these problems when, our great grandparents or grandparents were coming up? And just took some time to reflect on that and to ask myself some questions concerning what did I think about all of these issues that I myself was facing with anxiety and with these self-defeating thoughts and things like that. And some of the conclusions that I came to, I'm going to share with you today. One of them is that I don't necessarily think that all of these issues that we're facing today, emotions are new. I think that we have a lot of unique challenges in the time that we live in, and that everything is moving very fast, and we don't have that community that once was there to, that central family, extended family support system. So there's a lot of different things that have come up in our lives that aren't necessarily present, that were present maybe in previous generations. So I also have written a book called The Herbal Homestead's Guide to Essential Oils. It's free on the herbalhomestead.com. I am happy for you to go there and to download it. It's definitely available for you. For free. So let's go ahead and get started. So would you like to be more happy, connected, and empowered? Who wouldn't, right? I mean, this is exactly why we're here today, right? We're answering some questions um, about emotions and how we can get a healthier emotional life. So let's look at this. In the class today, what we're going to focus on and what you will learn is the science behind emotion and essential oils, and then some tools and habits for a healthy body chemistry. And then also, I'm a very pragmatic person. And so I really want to make sure that you have practical emotional wellness steps, things that you can do, that you can take away from this class right now, that you can do right now to help you feel better. Um, so let's look at our our body, spirit, and mind. I mean, we are created to function as a whole. The spirit and the mind and the body are inseparably connected. They are all communicating at a cellular level. And our body is made up of these intelligent cells, and they are wired to restore our health. And what that basically means is your body is brilliant in design and naturally wants to be balanced, and it wants to be whole. So I invite you to learn that about your amazing self today. I mean, let's really look at ourselves and listen to what it may be trying to tell you, and to really be your own best advocate. And, really self care is so important. Um, during these times, and during you know with all of these issues in the world, and everybody seems to be so stressed out. Self-care is so important, and we all seem to put ourselves on the back burner. And I want you today to say, hey, I'm really going to stake a claim, and I'm going to say I'm going to do what's best for me and my wellness, because that is the most important thing that I can do at this moment for myself. So let's look at emotions. Emotions are, basically these information carrying molecules that bind to and react with cell receptors. They get into cells, and they actually impact cell function and behavior. So to learn the language of your body, you really need to know what emotions are and what they are communicating. So, emotions are information carrying molecules that actually bind and react with your cell receptors. They go into the cell, and they actually impact what they do. So, emotions in their smallest and most basic form are chemical molecules. If you look at the image that we're looking at on the slide here, um, you'll see that the cell is receiving these molecules on one of its receptors. And receptors are molecules that function as senses or scanners, much like our eyes and ears. So these receptors gather in a cluster at the surface of an actual cell, and they're waiting for a chemical to attach a message. This new information is actually received inside the cell. So this is going to impact your energy level. It's going to impact your behavior, what kind of mood you're in. And it's fascinating to discover how emotions can actually affect your physical health. So let's look here at emotions and how they are processed. They are actually processed throughout the body. Because emotions are chemicals, they are not limited to the mind. So emotions flow and are processed throughout the body. Science actually tells us that there are complex neural processing functions in the mind, the heart, and the gut. So basically, you have these three brains. These three brains are neural networks with independent memory and intelligence. This means you can actually process feelings in each of these brains. So you can actually feel these emotions, not only just in your mind and not only in your heart, but also in your gut. So let's look at these three brains. So the first brain we have is the mind. That's like the conductor. It's directing the body to feel emotionally and to behave physically. So mind, logic, and intellect. The subconscious mind directs over 90% of your behavior. So let's talk about the heart, which is the second brain. The heart discerns the messages our brain receives. So there are more neuro pathways that run from the heart to the brain than there are from the brain to the heart. So that's where your intuition is. The heart discerns those messages our brain receives. And the gut, which is our third brain, responds accordingly. So the gut is where your body is distributing the health or illness to the rest of our body. So just a thought about this with your gut. 90% of the body's serotonin involved in mood management is produced in the gut. So the vast majority of your mood management chemicals are actually made in the gut. So let's talk about the three brains and how they communicate with each other. So the three brains actually communicate. They feed back to, and then they therefore influence the mind. So isn't it amazing that the power your body holds to actually choose wellness? Um, yeah, that's why it's so important. You always hear mind over matter or get your mind right, or, why it's so important what is happening in your mind, which you allow to come through, has such a huge effect on your health and your wellness. So your three brains instinctively process every single life experience. So let me walk you through this. Have you ever felt like maybe the woman in this picture? Um, where you've got the kids, they're running around, you've got somebody on the phone from work asking questions, you have the dog that wants to be let out, suppers needs to get cooked, and everybody is needing everything from you. And just think of that moment in your own experience and sort of take a picture of that, and let's walk ourselves through it. So this is what's happening, um, while you're going through that particular life experience of, that, oh my gosh, I have all of these responsibilities and everybody needs something from me. Um, so you can see there's this processing that's happening. So in your mind, what's happening is you're saying, I have to figure this out. You're logically wanting to figure out what I have to do. In your heart, you're, you know, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed. Maybe I'm holding too much. Your mind is thinking, it's my responsibility after all, right? I had these kids. I have to make sure they get fed. I have to make sure the dog, gets to go out and play, and that, everybody is taken care of. And then the gut has this feeling of, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I can't handle all of this right now. So that's the processing that happens in the three brains of the mind, the heart, and the gut. So then what happens is a biochemical reaction occurs. You can feel conflicted, you can feel confused, even notice an upset stomach. How many of you have been so stressed out that your tummy is just tied up in knots? I know I have. And what happens is these negative reactions are the consequences of conflicting messages. And what happens is that disrupts your internal balance. And the results of that is disconnection or disease. So really important on how we react to these different emotions, because as you can see, like in the picture in front of us, you have the head tension. I mean, how many of us have tension headaches, or in your heart where you have that conflicted feeling where that's, you just don't feel at ease. And of course the gut is very quick to tell you when things are not going so right, because you get that upset stomach. So let's look at how belief falls into this. So you have the processing, the reaction, and then when we think and feel something simultaneously, a new belief is created. So let's look at the example in front of us. She's feeding herself this belief of, I'm not good enough to handle all of this. We are always either reinforcing old beliefs, or we are planting new ones. So nurturing a belief produces fruit, So the question we want to ask ourselves, are we cultivating a seed or are we cultivating a weed? So let's look here at some. I have two actually essential oils that I use on a daily basis. And on the left side, you'll see the balance oil. So essential oils are very effective for emotions. They are hard, your sense of smell is hardwired into the limbic part of your brain, which is basically that seat of emotion. There's this mood blend called balance, and it has this calming and grounding effect to the central nervous system. It also, if you look on the right side, it contains frankincense, which is this powerful cleanser and magnifier that opens up the mind's eye and connects your heart and your soul with this authentic um, connection. So, one thing that I would say that I feel when I use balance or frankincense, and I use balance every day, I put it on the bottoms of my feet before I put my socks and shoes on. And it just has this ability to center. I think of it as a very, it's a grounding blend. It has this ability to very center those emotions and to give you a really good baseline to start your day. So let's look a little bit about the chemistry and what's happening. So, because both emotions and essential oils are chemically based, a powerful reaction occurs as they make contact within the body. So, essential oils are very chemically complex, which is why each oil is able to have so many different uses and applications. So, if we look at here at essential oils promoting emotional purification or detoxification, and we actually anchor that in healthy biochemistry, what that means is that the essential oils are efficient at detoxing the cell and restoring proper cell function. It is so amazing how biocompatible essential oils are with the body. So let's look here at um, at the oil that is shown here. It's the wild orange oil. And this is a wonderful oil that I love. I actually, whenever I'm working with somebody and we're getting them started and they're getting some oils, I always just send them some wild orange because I literally feel like it is happiness in a bottle. I love to put it in my diffuser. I love to put it in my car. I have a little diffuser in my car, and if my husband and or if I'm driving in somebody else's car and they don't have a diffuser, I just take a little piece of cotton and put a little bit of wild orange in it and put it in the vent and just really love that smell and that huge um, you know wonderful, uplifting mood, and just it's a great oil that everybody should have it. If you don't have it, message me. We're going to get you some. So, let's look a little bit more about what's happening on this chemical level. So, one of the reasons essential oil molecules go cellular so quickly is because they are extremely molecularly dense. So, one drop of essential oil has 40 million trillion molecules. Tiny molecules from the chemical compounds in essential oils can service every single cell of the entire body within minutes. And that is just drop, one drop of essential oil. It's pretty powerful stuff. So let's look here um, about how all of this works together. Because of their chemical complexity, essential oils promote emotional and physical detox. They help remove these conflicting cellular messages and then they actually encourage cellular restoration. They support those receptor sites that are on the surface of our cells, reviving and enhancing them. This is the one of the reasons that essential oils do not carry side effects. They go into each cell efficiently after they bind to the receptors on the cell surface. And then what happens is this efficient process enhances the entire cell's function. So just the contact of the essential oil with the cell um, is an immediate efficiency in that it enhances the functionality of that particular cell. Also, essential oils are able to restore and maintain the state a cell is naturally and intelligently designed to embody. So basically, what it does is it helps each cell be its best self. Right? I mean, I think that's why we're all here. We will all want to be our best self. And essential oils are just so instrumental in helping us do that. So let's look here at the picture of a peppermint leaf. That is actually on the top, you see the peppermint leaf. And then below it, you actually see a magnified peppermint leaf. This is underneath the microscope. And these oil sacs that are sitting on the surface of the peppermint leaf in the magnified photo are the volatile life force of the plant. So those little sacs are what gives the plant life. Essential oils course through the plant as its lifeblood, helping the plant to defend, to nourish, and repair itself. Let's take a second here. How many of you are gardeners or farmers or have planted? Maybe you've planted herbs or you've planted squash in the backyard, and you know from that little tiny seed what has to happen for that plant to mature and produce fruit or vegetables. Or there are so many things that happen, whether it be disease or weather or, I mean, soil, lack of nutrients in the soil. The essential oil is what helps the plant, that's its life force. So the quality and the grade of an essential oil will determine its actual effectiveness. Um, and that's why I really enjoy using the certified pure therapeutic grade, because the chemical compounds they're just the safest and they're the purest, and they are just the best when you're trying to support the physical and emotional needs of your body. It's not about things smelling good, or, I mean, of course I have tons of diffuser blends that I make that smell amazing, and I make my own perfumes that smell amazing, but this is really about the physical and emotional benefits that you get from these chemical compounds that really help each cell heal itself. So that's why when you're talking about using essential oils for, physical and emotional healing, you really need to think about the quality and the education that has to come along with that bottle of oil. So let's talk about peppermint. Peppermint is one of my favorite oils. It's actually one of the most popular oils, and physically, peppermint is very energizing. It's oxygenating, and it really helps you support if you're trying to focus. It helps support your brain and your mental capabilities. Emotionally, peppermint invigorates and it dispels mental fog. Either way, peppermint peps you up. Oh, wild orange is one, and then peppermint's another one. What I really love to do is take the peppermint and the wild orange and mix that together, and it is just this wonderful combination of, pepping you up and making you feel joyful at the same time. It's a wonderful way to experience an immediate um, change in attitude and mood. So let's talk a little bit about the ways that you can experience essential oils. The first is um, aromatically. There is a reason why this process is called aromatherapy. Smell is the fastest way to affect mood and the quickest way to get into the deepest part of the mind brain. Our sense of smell is more complex than any of our other senses, including sight. There are smell receptors on every organ of the body. As you inhale an essential oil, these aromatic molecules travel to the olfactory bulbs, which are linked directly to the emotional limbic seat of the brain. This is how inhalation creates an immediate emotional impact. One thing I like to talk about when I talk about how to use the oils aromatically and how that really has this connection to our emotional seat of our brains is, have you ever been, have you ever been to a realtor's uh, open house and they invite you in, and a lot of times they'll have cookies baking in the oven, and the reason why they do that is because they know that the smell of baking has such an emotional connection to home and brings such good memories and feelings back, that when you smell those chocolate chip cookies baking in the oven, you can't help but feel good about where you are. So, definitely huge connection between the sense of smell and your mood. So let's talk about essential oils are dynamic. They're shifting and changing intelligently as they interact with your body's biochemistry. You will discover that each and every essential oil has both physical and emotional components and applications. And again, this is because of their chemical complexity. Very complex chemical compounds, and they provide so many different benefits for so many different things. It's pretty amazing how it all works together. So the second way we can use essential oils for emotional support is by applying them topically. Essential oils are transdermal. What that means is they're actually tiny molecules that pass through your skin and go straight into your circulatory system. You can apply oils anywhere on your body, and the essential oil will penetrate every single cell. So, here are some tips for topical application to affect those three brains that we talked about earlier of the body, your head, heart, and gut. So whenever you're holding occasional tension, you can actually massage an essential oil into that area for localized support. So here's an example of what I like to do for that. So this is a blend, it's a tension blend called past tense. How many of you get tension headaches? Oh, I do. Especially after, you're trying to pack the 5 million things that you have to do in one day and it's not all fitting and I get these awful tension headaches, and I use past tense. Um, and I use it topically right where I feel the tension, whether it be in my neck, at the back of my neck, and my shoulders. Actually, I get a lot of tension on the top of my head, right above the forehead. And I will actually just apply the past tense directly to those localized areas to provide immediate support, immediate relief. Wonderful, wonderful oil that I recommend highly. So let's talk about another way that you can use essential oils. Another way that we talked about aromatically, we talked about topically. Now let's talk about internally. The kind of oils that I like to use with the certified pure therapeutic grade. And what that means is that they are therapeutically used oils. They're not, so many oils are used for flavoring or for scent. These oils are actually therapeutic oils. and can be used for dietary dietary support. And one way that I do that is I use On Guard, which is a really great protective blend. It helps with seasonal threats. It helps really build that immune system. It's we call it the protective blend, and physically it protects your body against those seasonal threats. And emotionally, it protects against environmental threats and promotes emotional boundaries. It really helps. If you feel vulnerable, I think a lot of times, especially in this day and age, we feel vulnerable. There are so many things that are happening that are out of our control, or so many things that are happening that we just seem to have to deal with the repercussions of, that we didn't necessarily start in our life. And that can make us feel vulnerable, which is can can really contribute to this emotional feeling of unease. And On Guard is great for helping with those feelings of vulnerability. So, um, another issue that I love to talk about when we talk about internally is that having a supplement regimen that will provide daily support, that's going to provide minerals, that's going to provide micronutrients and healthy fats. This is so important. What this does is it lays a strong foundation for your physical and emotional health. Because here's the thing, you can't be physically healthy if you're not emotionally healthy. And that is so there's that connection there. So you really want to have a good foundation for your best physical and emotional self. So I actually take these supplements every day to feel good emotionally and physically. So now we talked about the gut and how that was your third brain. Um, you know, the regular cleansing of the gut restores so much healthy physical function, but it's also just imperative for clear thinking and for mood management. If you have low digestive function, it is scientifically linked with low mood. You have to remember that 90% of your body's serotonin, which is that chemical that is the chemical for mood management and for what your mood is like, is produced in the gut. So you want to make sure that you are having things like probiotics. These are pre and probiotics that help to sustain those healthy colonies of microflora and that good bacteria in the gut. So what that does is that's going to help foster nutrient uptake, energy metabolism, and your GI immunity. Um, Probiotics are so important. And one thing to be mindful of with your gut is that, and I didn't realize this until I had been treated for Lyme disease, and it was a very, very scary regimen of antibiotics. And it completely wiped out my gut flora. And I had such horrible problems with my gut after taking those antibiotics, because all of those, it killed all of the bacteria, all of the bad bacteria, but also all the good bacteria. So having something like a probiotic to reestablish those healthy colonies of microflora and that good bacteria is so important. And then to have those digestive enzymes that can help convert your food to cellular energy and help produce those metabolic enzymes that are so important in digestion. And then to have, to sort of clean out that gut and make sure that you're doing whatever you need to give yourself that good foundation for physical and emotional health and well-being. So let's look here. This is a lot of information. So let's just take a breath. just for a second and let's simplify. I know a lot of times people, the first thing they say to themselves when they're talking about essential oils or any of this is where do I begin? And, change is a gift that is always available to us. If you're ready to feel better and to experience more out of life, then you are on this call for a reason. You are in the right place. Um, there's actually this amazing new mood blends that I'm going to talk about, and they are designed specifically for mood. These essential oil blends are just for mood, and they give support in their own unique and specific way. And so how they grow is a lot like how they react in our bodies. So take, for example, if you look at the wheel in front of us, the citrus oils. Citrus plants grow in warm, sunny climates. They're elevated high off the ground. And citrus oils are uplifting. They're elevating. They're happy oils. When I think of wild orange, I think of sunshine, happiness in a bottle. So another example are the tree oils. Trees are rooted deep into the earth. They're offering this strong foundation for the plant to have strength and stability. Tree oils offer us the same properties. They help us to feel more balanced, more grounded, more secure. So let's put this aromatherapy wheel to work. So, what I would love for you to do is identify what you are feeling now, right this second, in this particular moment. Maybe you are feeling more than one thing. What's speaking loudest to you? Um, and then choose one or two oils that best fits. So, for example, if I'm feeling anger or bitterness and have agitated feelings, I might want to try to place or to use forgive to feel more calm and collected. I would place forgive over my heart, on the insides of my wrist, or across my forehead to help with those feelings, those anger or bitter feelings, to use that oil and to place that on my body and say, and just let's say I have just lost you've just lost a loved one and you're grieving and you're in the grieving process. I mean, that is it's such an emotional thing, but wow, does it have such physical manifestation. um you know so, which oil would best suit my needs? Well, if you look at console, that would be an excellent choice uh, to offer that kind of support. I would place, a drop or two over my heart, on my forehead or temples, and on the insides of my wrist. There, this emotional wheel that we have, and sometimes those personal emotional roller coasters that we seem to have to go through, it's nice to have some support. And what's so great about these oils and using them, when you have those feelings, is that immediate relief, that immediate help. It's pretty powerful. So let's talk a second about habits and lifestyles. So becoming happy, connected, and empowered, it requires you to choose healthy habits because healthy mood habits create a healthy mood lifestyle. So, as a first step, it's helpful to understand where you are now. This is a quick assessment to help you understand how connected your brain, heart, and gut really are. For each brain, I want you to simply put a check mark in your head next to the statements that seem true for you. So let's take a moment and do that now. So you see the check marks in front of you. I want you in your head to check which ones speak to you. So the first one for healthy mind is I work on healthy thought patterns. So what is that? Am I thinking positive thoughts? Am I choosing to believe good about myself and others? Am I nourishing my brain with good fats and minerals? Are you doing all of these things for a healthy mind? For a healthy heart, are you trusting your intuition and your higher power? Are you freely giving and receiving love? Are you are you feeling peaceful inside? Are you resting well? Um, and then for the gut, are you digesting and processing food well? Are you nourishing your digestive system with good nutrition and enzymes? Is your body healthy and feel good? So, these are really important to look at seriously because they have such a connection. There's such a connection between your emotional and physical health. If your body is not healthy and feeling good, then you really need to look at your gut. You need to make sure you're digesting and processing the right foods. You need to make sure you're providing your food with the right nourishment and the good nutrition and the enzymes that are required to make sure that that serotonin that's produced in the gut can be produced effectively. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, what do I need to weed out? What do I need to get rid of? Based on what you answered, what is one weed that you want to remove? It might be a negative thought. It may be a relationship or a substance. For instance, I may have the thought planter pattern, which I do all the time. Um, this is a health pattern that I deal with, and it's I'm overwhelmed. I feel stressed. So, when I feel overwhelmed and I feel stressed, I go back to my aromatherapy wheel, which we can do right here. And I look at this and I say, oh, I feel so stressed. And um, I feel really very anxious, and then I'm gonna go to this blend piece. That's what's going to speak to me at that particular moment, and I'm going to apply peace to help me get to the next moment, because really that's what we're doing. We are we are giving ourselves the tools to feel good in that moment. um, so let's look back here to another question that we want to ask ourselves. What do I want to plant instead? This could be a new belief. It could be a relationship. It could be a supplement. For example, I may want to plant the new belief: I am completely supported in every moment. So, I mean, that's a beautiful thought. One thing that I say, or one thing that I tell myself every single day, several times a day, as a matter of fact, depending on how the day is going, is I say, I am so grateful that I am healthy, wealthy, and wise, because those are important things to me. Um, those things are so important, and I have to make that thought pattern, um, and I have to plant that thought pattern into my mind so that I can, feel comfortable and supported in what I do to make sure that I am fulfilling that destiny for myself. So another question that we want to ask is, how will I nourish this seed? Nourishment includes habits, it includes practices and patterns. Personally, I was telling you about wild orange, and really you have to email me after this class, melissa.nelson.jones@gmail.com, and I'm going to get you some wild orange just for listening to this class. But I love to use wild orange, and I like to just inhale it right out of the bottle as I anchor myself in a new positive belief. So one of the things that I like to do is I will say, I am enough, I am whole. And I will do that while smelling that wild orange. And it is so powerful. Not only the emotional manifestation, but the physical manifestation that happens when I do that. So let's talk a little bit about, there's this saying that says, you fill a bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You heal yourself moment by moment. As you claim greater wellness, I want you to remember that you fill a bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You heal yourself moment by moment. Small and simple changes can yield great results. Just take it one moment at a time. So, in this class, we've discussed practical, emotional wellness steps that you can take right now. It's so exciting and rewarding for me to be able to help you with and to offer you this gift of change. Um, so I really want to invite you to let me be your guide in starting your new habits. And I ask you today, are you ready to begin creating new habits today? Are you ready to claim that gift of wellness? And maybe as you sat through this webinar, you may have asked yourself, well, what tools will I use to nurture this healthy body chemistry that I want? And one of my favorite parts about doing what I do is helping other people get these beautiful emotional wellness tools into their homes so they too can begin using them day by day and moment by moment. So here's how it works. Um, what I'm going to do is I am going to send you a lot of really neat information, and I'm going to go over a little bit of it here, but I've got a really nice handout that I'm going to send to all of you, that you can print out or you can use on your computer. And it's a great reference of all of the things we talked about today. It's also got the checklist of when you're looking at your three brains on what you need support in. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I use on a daily basis to help me with these habits. So let's look at this. This is the Emotional Aromatherapy Kit. This is an amazing kit that includes 6 different oil blends that are configured specifically for emotional issues. So it comes with a diffuser, and the different blends are passion, peace, cheer, forgive, console, and motivate. So I use these oils all the time. I use them for when what I do is if I'm looking for that particular feeling, I ask myself, do I need to be consoled right now? Is that what I feel like I need right now? If that's what I feel like I need, then I'm going to go and I'm going to grab that console blend. Do I feel like I need some motivation? I have a lot of work to do and I feel like I need some motivation. I'm going to grab that motivate. If I feel like I need more peace in my life, I am going to go and I am going to grab the peace blend. What's so great about this kit is that you have the diffuser, so you can actually diffuse this in the air, but you also have the undiluted blends that you can make into roller bottles and actually use topically as well. So this is a wonderful combination of the different emotional blends that are there to support you. Um, then we have the Herbal Homestead Kit. This is actually a kit that I put together. I really, people come to me all the time and they ask me, they say, Melissa, how do I get started? This is so overwhelming. And this is why I love doing what I do, because I take all the guesswork out of it. I'm here for you step by step. If you have questions, I'm here to help you find the answers. If you have health issues that you want support with and you want to talk to me one on one about, that's what I'm here for. That's why I love doing what I do. I love these relationships that become out of this mutual learning and mutual education of learning all of these great things that you can do for yourself. So the first thing that I love about this particular kit is that it has what is the Natural Solutions Kit. And these oils are, I use these oils for everything, not just for emotional issues, but for everything. Everything from cleaning to if I have pain issues, if I have, if I need to make my own cleaners, if I have muscle pain, these are all oils that I use every single day. And then I also suggest that you get the emotional aromatherapy touch kit with that, because those are just roller on bottles. And like I said, whenever you have that thought of, hey, I really need some peace in my life right now, I really need to feel peace, you can just grab that roller bottle and you can apply that particular peace blend and topically, and you can feel that immediate peace sensation. So having those two things, those two different, uh, it's just, this is going to completely make over your life. It's just amazing. I have an apothecary in my house, and I want everybody to have an apothecary in their house. I want everybody to say, hey, I don't, I feel like I'm just not in a happy mood right now. I just don't feel as happy as I want to feel right now. I want you to have the power to go to your personal apothecary, open the cabinet, and say, oh, look, here, I have cheer. This is a natural solution to an issue that I'm having that I can handle myself. I don't have to go and spend $100 at the doctor's office, or I don't, have to have these expensive prescriptions every single month. Of course, you never want to do anything without talking to your doctor, and we all have prescriptions that um, you need to have. But I will tell you that I have, along with my doctor, worked together and have cut down. Um, all medications except for two. And I was on 9 at one particular time. When I first started this journey, I was on 9 different medications that I had to take every single day. And now I am down to two. And that is because of the essential oils, and because of the education, and because of my great doctor. I have a wonderful doctor. So all of those things work together. And what's so great about this kit with this month is you're also going to get a free Immortel. And Immortel blend is the most expensive oils, the most rare oils, all mixed together. It's regularly $92.67, and you would get that for free. So it's a wonderful incentive to look at that. Another, I call this the ultimate kit. This is another great option. And basically, what you do is you're going to get the diffuser, you're going to get those emotional aromatherapy um, oils, and you're also going to get all of these uh, touch roll-on bottles with you're going to get cheer and peace, and you're going to get peppermint and frankincense, which is probably my most favorite oil of all of the essential oils. It is just everything. When in doubt, use frankincense. And you're also going to get that lifelong vitality pack. We talked about that earlier. That's going to give you that awesome daily good foundation of those micronutrients and minerals and things that you need to have a good foundation for physical and emotional health. And then this is probably the most popular kit that I sell is this Natural Solutions Kit. And this is when you're ready. This is when you're ready. You're tired. You're tired. I was so tired. I was so tired of feeling bad. I was so tired of feeling like I had no control over what was happening in my physical and emotional life. And this kit completely changed my life. No excuses. It's exactly what it did. It completely changed the way I live my life. It changed the way my family lives their life. My kids know the oils. They go to the oils. They know they work. My husband goes to the oils. He uses the oils as much as I do. And this is a wonderful, wonderful kit. This is huge savings. You save over $400. I send a bunch of free stuff along with all of the other stuff. This is definitely, if you're tired, if like I remember in the beginning of my journey, and the emotional issues, the physical issues, the herniated disc in my back, the pernicious anemia, the feeling tired all the time, all of these things, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, the IC, all of these issues, the asthma, feeling just, people would say, they would ask me how I was doing. And of course I would say, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. And in my mind, I would just say, I am so tired. I'm so tired of feeling bad. I'm so tired. And if you're ready to not feel tired anymore, um, I want to help you with that. So this is what I can offer you. And I can offer you these wonderful oils, and I can offer you my support, and I can offer you one-on-one counseling. Um, and that is what I'm here for. So just to reiterate, you feel a bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You heal yourself moment by moment. It's so important to think about, when, how important that moment is, and and the journey of health and healing and wellness. I really appreciate you joining me today. I cannot tell you how much it means to be able to help all of you. It's really the most, I enjoy it so much. I enjoy connecting with you and helping you find solutions for whatever it is that you're facing. That's what I mean, I have just really devoted my life to that. And it just, it brings me so much joy. So please, if you have any questions, I would love to answer your questions. If you if you would like to chat one on one, I am very open to do that. I don't ever charge anything for talking one on one. I'm here to help. So thank you again. And I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and be well. Be well. All right. Thanks so much.